Let's do it. Yeah. All right, guys, we're back. We're still on the Ruck wraps. We just got done with the discussion about Iceland, the Spartan race that the Spartan Ultra that you did for 24 hours representing the Air Force.
Yep.
Really, really impressive stuff. Skidmore. So for any of our endurance athletes, not just GoRuckers, we're talking, the Spartan community is huge. The Voodoo Floss can be helping these individuals pre-race, post-race, not just on race day, training days.
Right.
Preparation is huge and key. I tell people all the time, if you want to win a gold medal, your warm-up needs to look like someone who's going to win a gold medal.
Sure.
I always tell people, hey, if you want to be an NBA basketball player, these people are taking 2 hours of shots before an NBA basketball game.
Right.
These people are training 90 minutes with strength training before an NBA basketball game. So if you want to be great at Olympic weightlifting and you're doing 1 or 2 minutes of stretching and warming up, and you expect to beat someone else at states, at a regionals or national events, you're looking for that one thing that's going to separate you from the next person. And if it is something 3 to 4 minutes on your quads, your ankles, Achilles, whatever it might be with the Voodoo Floss, that's going to separate you from the next person. It's going to speed up that recovery process.
That's the Donnie Thompson connection, right?
Yep.
And so how Donnie found a way to do something incredible at his age, right? And he's not like a physical specimen necessarily. Like he's like the fucking juggernaut, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, not in his prime necessarily, right? You see, we're in the age of Instagram where everybody's a monster, right?
Yeah.
But the dudes aren't doing that, and even the guys that are, look at Larry Wheels, right? What just happened to him? He just tore his bicep off, right? Every single and part of the reason that I got out or away from the strongman community is that I don't know anybody that is in it that hasn't gone down with a surgery in the last couple of years, and I don't want that. That's not the way that I want. It's not an obstacle that I necessarily want to overcome. And so how can we avoid that? Well, simple, a little bit of preparation. And so using all those tools that I've learned for the last 10 years and then sharing them to others so that they don't get into that position, right? Because it's all of these injuries are totally preventable, right? But you got to have the right tools. And so Ruck Wrap just being a tool, because for 2 years I was sharing this technique, didn't have my own brand, right? Legitimately helping people feel better and perform better and stay in fights and reach their goals, right? Because if they went down with a sprained ankle and had to bow out of an event, all right, if that guy would have left, he wouldn't have had the 6 hours later breakthrough and overcome this huge challenge. But a tool helped him stay in it. And
He's still got that feeling of accomplishment. He trained his butt off.
100%,
he was
right?
an OCS racer. Yeah, man, This guy was looking forward to this thing.
Well, and so for the OCR community, right, it's not just on the ankles, right? Hey, if I'm doing a bunch of pull-up monkey bars or like rings or rope climbs, dude, your arms are blown out. And so that's doing it on your elbows, on your shoulders. And these aren't just like, the midlife crisis now of the 2015 past is getting into extremely good shape, right? And that's been allowed by Spartan Race, by CrossFit, by Savage Race, by all these different, by GoRuck, right? And that's kind of the simplicity of it, is you're just getting out and doing stuff. And the beauty in GoRuck is that you don't need a coach, right? You just put some load on your back and go for a walk, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get stronger, pick up a sandbag and take it with you, right? And then share it with a buddy. So if me and Scout go for a ruck, well, hey, we'll have our backpack on, but let's grab that 50-pound bag, right? And we'll pass it back and forth, and you'll take it for as far as you can. When you're smoked, pass it off to me, and then we'll work together, right? And so, but that's so simple, right? I don't need a class environment. I can wake up, or I can do this after the kids go to sleep, or hey, I can carry my kids, right? Because that's 75 pounds. And like squirming around, getting them outside, and so that's the beauty of it. Is it's time under tension, right? You're working the whole time, and it's super simple, right? Because that's the most natural. Like, hey, we've been walking as humans for a long time. We just don't now. And so 100%. If we can get away, and that's like bringing it back to the very basics and adding in all these other unique things, right? So how can we do a ruck workout? Well, instead of running, let's move weight. Let's just walk fast.
Yeah, love it. Where would we find the Ruck reps at?
So ruckwrap.com, I can order it from there. Hopefully you got it, because they've been flying off the shelves. And
Great.
so, this is kind of I started this out of necessity, because out of all these events, like I'd go to events and the cadre at these other events, they're mostly older guys, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of one of the younger ones.
Okay.
But, guys get banged up. Well, if it helps, I probably gave away 15 voodoo floss bands. I got to the point where I was cutting them in half.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I need this, because I'm not gonna go out on the trail without something to help a sprained ankle, right?
Yeah.
Or like get me off of the X if something bad happens, and I can use it as a tourniquet too. But so like, I was going through the airport. The final straw was I was going through the airport, and this kid that was much more athletic looking than I am.
That's hard to believe.
He was like 6'4", good looking kid. He had just finished up a training camp. He's trying to get a college scholarship, because hey man, he needs to play football to pay for college. And he was limping both the sides, and he was carrying his helmet in his hand. And I was like, man, what's going on with you? And I kind of got in the habit of striking up random conversations. He was like, man, I tore my hamstring, and then I tore my other one. And so my back always gets flagged by security, because I carry a spork. And so we're waiting around, and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna give you something that's gonna help you out. Just wait here for a second. So I was in the airport and basically showed this kid how to voodoo floss, and I was like, well, hey, all right, like, this is gonna help you out.
Wow.
Here you go. And I'd given away so many, and it's just knowledge that people don't have. But even like CrossFitters, hey, you might carry around 1 or 2 in your bag, but do you know how to use it? And are you using it to its fullest potential? We've got crossover symmetries, but what if I say, hey, all right, man, you're going to take a band and you're going to hold it and do
the
pull
same
parts,
thing.
right?
Do the same thing.
Pre-workout and post-workout. That way you're strengthening up your upper back, right? The little stuff in your shoulders that's tearing because you're not doing it before you start doing kipping pull-ups. Build that up through your warm-up and cool-down exercises, and then you avoid getting cut on, right?
Yeah. That's all coming from a $12, $14 band, man.
That's it.
That's incredible stuff.
And ours are cheaper than Rogue. Yeah, you're going to pay for a little bit for shipping, but if you got a question, hit me up on Facebook, and I'm always available. Like my whole thing, man, if you could somehow work yourself into that 1,000 people that I'll help out, like, it's too easy.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just the knowledge and education. So ruckwrap.com or Facebook, try
Good
to post
stuff.
all the videos.
Go back from the very beginning of this conversation. You said 2015. You set a goal for yourself to make an impact on 1,000 people.
Yep.
You're in an airport helping out a young man fix his hamstrings. That's making an impact.
Right.
135 GoRuck events, Skidmore. That's making an impact.
Yeah.
Big guy, man. That's impressive stuff. We're going to switch gears for a second and just talk about I seen this on your social media. I know you've been training these guys. They're from the hybrid athletic stuff. Get into they did 200-mile race.
Oh my gosh, yes.
These are remote clients of yours, so you also do remote coaching for people. So if you're listening to this and you're looking to get into the GoRucks, to the Spartan, you need help with your strength training. If any of you guys are looking to get into, if you guys want to be special forces or just need help passing your PT test, Skidmore can help you guys with that. I will link all that information to this. But this is a very recent success. Today is Wednesday. I think these guys
finished up yesterday morning.
Tuesday morning.
Yep.
205 miles.
Yeah, so the whole course is the Tahoe 200. Basically, the route is all the way around Lake Tahoe. And if you've never been to Lake Tahoe, drop everything you're going and go, because it's probably one of the most beautiful places in America. This is a ultra marathon trail race. Matt and Paul came to me about 14 months ago, and they had already had the goal. They had been training for a long time, and just needed a different coaching outlook, and so I started training these guys. Well, hey, if you're trying to be an ultra marathon runner, your training doesn't start 2 months out. And so I looked at where they're currently at. So last year they got 100 miles in, ended up going about to the 120 point, and stuff started happening inside their bodies that they had never felt before. Okay. And they just weren't there, right? And so they self-eliminated. Basically, they found their way off the path. They didn't make it. And so we came back, we looked at all, what they had been doing, and then readdressed and said, all right, well, hey, are you guys going to try it again, right? And we set up this plan to where we're going to learn, right, and then reattack. And we got a whole extra year of training.
Great.
So went through, our strength phase, went through just bulletproofing the body, right, and looking at a lot of directional work, because their whole thing was, hey, they live in Wilmington, right? These guys are on the beach. Not a lot of hills around there.
No,
you go to Lake Tahoe, it's all hills, and they're out there up and down, and their legs are just destroyed. And so how do you train for that, but also look like you work out, right? These guys don't want to be rail thin.
Yeah.
And so over the last year, they've set PRs in their deadlift, PRs in their back squat, PRs in their bench press. So concurrently training strength work while also getting their endurance training in and preparing for this 200-mile race. And it took a ton of dedication. And these guys are so low maintenance hey, they just trust the process, do what they can, modify little things here and there. But at the end of the day, we're big boy rules, right? So I'm not going to hold your hand if you can't complete a task, but it's a guideline, right? It's a baseline program that is custom to whatever your setup is, right, based on your lifestyle. And so I was lucky enough to guide these guys that are stupid enough to try a 200-mile race, and they went out and absolutely crushed it.
What a huge accomplishment!
Oh my God!
Hey.
As I kept refreshing it, and they'd be, past the 120-mile mark, and I was just every couple hours, once an hour, I'm like, all right, they're still going, right, and checking off, tracking them, because I couldn't make it out. They had a hell of a support crew, and they just killed it. They were ahead of the schedule because it's time cap, right? I think there's 20 different way station support sites throughout the course.
You got to make it by a certain time.
Yeah, if you don't get out of there, they stop you.
Game over.
And so they were way ahead of the schedule, whereas last year they were crushed. They didn't have it and didn't complete the race. They were way ahead, and going into it, they said they felt the best that they had ever felt. They were strong. They looked good. I know they had a dietitian as well, a nutritionist helping them out and getting them squared away.
Got to have all of it.
Well, and they had the complete package. They sacrificed everything they needed to do, and that's a lifetime achievement. Right,
yeah.
and so
huge.
looking at where they were, looking at where they are now, that's not a 1-year training thing. That's multi-year preparing yourself. I forced them to do a GoRuck challenge. They came out, they did it.
Perfect. Great training for them.
Oh, I mean, it just fell right into the training, and they rucked a lot, right? So balancing bi-weekly. Hey, 1 week we do a long run, the next week we do a lot of rucking, and tons of stairs, and
great.
Man, we got really creative with it and had to skin the cat a little differently, but it's not endurance runners to try to get into that. It's really cool, and I'm really honored to get to share that success.
What an accomplishment. Congratulations, Coach, and Matt and Paul. I'll send this to you guys. Congratulations on the accomplishment, guys. That is big time. 200 miles around Lake Tahoe.
205.5 plus mile to get to the race. So.
Incredible. Well, to kind of wrap all this up, Skidmore, I wrote down 2 words, man, 2 terms that I knew that mean a lot to you, and I think would be really, really good for our listeners to hear, and what separates some people from others. And just wanted to get this with your background, man. What does self-discipline mean to Daniel Skidmore?
Man, self-discipline, right? That's how you're holding yourself accountable, right? And what time you're gonna wake up, right? And what your priorities are for the day, and where you're spending your minutes and seconds, and the energy you're giving specific things, right? And having that accountability to yourself and your team and your family, right? To accomplish the mission, whatever that mission is, right? Whether it's build your business or make more money or lose weight, right? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to reach those goals? And so if you don't have that, you gotta, you can kind of shape it, but you gotta make little sacrifices to achieve those goals, and you're the only one that can really hold yourself accountable. And so it just takes practice.
That's great. And then the last term, man, team. What does team work? What does team stand for you? What does that mean?
Yeah, team one, you gotta find a good team, right? And so for me, everything's a team. my entire community is a team, and you're a part of my community. You've been a great friend, and so like having a good team, and that can be like team players or the people that work under you, but it's all connected. I like the conjugate method, right? Because everything's connected, and that's even like your team or the people that you're connected with on social media, right? The people that are liking your posts and you're commenting and you're like connected with and trying to help your team success to reach success. And so the better teammate you are, man, if you're trying to help other people achieve their goals, they're helping you, and that's helping the team, right?
Great.
And so as we're humans out here all doing the same stuff, like whatever our goals are, we're all on each other's team, or you should be anyways. And if you're not, like, you got people that are not on your team. But if you can be a better teammate and help others, they're going to push harder for you, and you're going to have another teammate. I take it back. I posted last night. So it was a year ago that my building and your building got flooded, right?
Yeah, sure did.
So I had 5.5 feet of water inside my gym there in Spring Lake. And from that, like, it was crushing, right? I mean, watch like a large sum of money just shipped down the river. We did not have flood insurance, and it was crushing, right? Well, my team, people from the gym community, the people from Fort Bragg, right, military members, veterans, civilians, count them on my team. They came out and helped demo, right? I mean, gut an entire building, right? Clean all the equipment, get it back in, rebuild everything. And they're all on my team. And then you meeting up at the Iron Clash and say, hey, man, what do you need, right? Hey, I know this is tough. Well, hey, Nick out in Wilmington, he got crushed too, right? So what's his team look like? Well, we're all here to help each other. And you said, hey, man, what do you need? How can we help, right? And offering so much, and that just teamwork, right? It might be a little bit, but you give what you can when you can. And so, like, even in a GoRuck event, people show up at all different fitness levels, right? Fat, slow, out of shape, studs, like, they're all in the same team. So you're going to give what you can when you can and be an asset to that team. So if you take on that asset mentality of, even if I'm just going to like carry the flag right now in the front, or just motivate, give what you can when you can, and be an asset to the team.
Awesome. Incredible information. Dan of Skidmore, thank you for taking the time to be with us today, share this information. We're going to break this down several different ways, but we'll start posting some of this information out there. I know people are going to replay this one for a long, long time, and I'm going to go back and look at it in a couple of years from now. We'll redo another one because, man, you're evolving, changing, making a huge impact. Man, it's just good to see you be successful. It's easy to cheer you on, man, and keep doing what you're doing. And thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.